So for harvesting, talking about the ideal time to harvest a plant. Now, it's mostly known that when the trichomes are mostly cloudy, that's when they're at the highest potency. Now, some people like for it to turn amber, where the inside cannabinoids go from THC to CBN. Is all of that still true today? Is that still the ideal time to harvest a plant?
You said earlier that in the last 5 years we've come a long way, but the deeper in I get, the more I understand how much I don't understand. I'll give you what's known today, or at least what's theorized today, because there's more than what any of us in any of our lifetimes are going to figure out. This is certainly going to be something that's done for hundreds of years, and what is why this industry is so exciting for me. Because if I were to study petunias or poinsettias, there's hundreds of journals out there with great information already. So, but yeah, with harvesting, I would say the most important thing is to be delicate with the plants. If you're in a commercial setting, a lot of times you're rushed in a hurry and you're just throwing plants around. Every time you touch a trichome, it will bust, for lack of better words. So just being as delicate as possible, having it touch as little things as possible, will certainly keep your plant in a lot better state. But as far as when, what color the trichome is, I have found by being a breeder and seeing lots of different varieties, CBD, CBG, THC, seeing all of the varieties that are out there that produce different cannabinoids, I've yet to find a true consistency of, being able to say 10% amber, perfect harvest. It doesn't happen the same way with every variety. So, what I always suggest is if you have a new variety, and a lot of this is costly, but this is perfect world scenario. Okay. You have a new variety and the breeder says it's an 8-week plant. The earlier you go, the better. And you can graph it out and see how, your THC, CBD, whatever it is, can progress and where it peaks and where it starts to decline. And you can compare that to, what it looks like under the microscope. And then you have that to repeat from. But testing's expensive and, it's not necessarily worth it for everyone. But I would just say repetition and growing a variety. And a lot of it's personal preference as well. I like mine to be on the earlier side where they're more clear. And then there's some people that they want it to be extremely amber. So a lot of that's preference. And this is simply theory, but I do not think the amber comes from the THC to CBN conversion. I think it could be some sort of non-enzymatic browning. Like other plants do when they ripen. So bananas and apples, when you cut them, there's some enzymatic browning happening. And so that's hopefully something I'll get to dig into this year, finding people to work with that can test some of these more nitty-gritty aspects of the plant has been pretty tough. And we finally got a university other than Clemson that will test for carbohydrates and the pieces that can lead you down that road of starch to sugar conversion. And, what I truly think is the guts to what is equating to a good cure.
Got it. Yeah. So it comes down to personal preference. I personally like mostly cloudy with a little bit of amber. I talk to so many people who are just like, 10% amber, 20% amber, but yeah, at the end of the day, it comes down to personal preference, like you had said.
If you're looking at your trichomes and you're counting them, it can be tricky sometimes because are you looking at the top ones where, the light is directly hitting them? Or are you looking at a inside piece or a lower bud? Because all that can be different throughout the plant too.
This clip is brought to you by AC Infinity. Use discount code MrGrow at 15 to save on any of their products.